it begins to say, Apostle Paul is dealing with the relationship between husband and wife and Christ and the church. Okay? He says in verse 30, he said, for we are members of his body, of his flesh, and of his bone. And Paul wasn't repeating himself as it may look like, because it seemed like he'd been saying almost the same thing over and over, but he wasn't repeating himself. He just wanted us to get the proper understanding. First, the relationship between Jesus and the church. He spoke to us about that, the husband-wife relationship. Now, the marriage relationships that he's talking about is focusing on the relationship that Jesus has with his people. So he says, for this reason shall a man leave his father and mother, be joined to his wife. We know that. We hear that in all of the wedding vows and everything. That was over in Genesis, 2nd chapter. And he said they shall be joined to his wife, and they shall be one flesh. And that was relevant to marriage, because it shows the first man and the first woman were one. And we want to talk about that oneness tonight. She was taken from him and she was brought back to him. So today it's just the same. The Lord has joined the wife back to the husband, and God did it. You know, when we take those vows, you know, we say in front of these witnesses in the presence of God, you know, we go through the ceremony. But we need to know that when you take those vows before God, that it means that you are making a pledge, you're making a vow. God did it. When we said that we do, God did it. Okay? Now, things started getting sour in a marriage. There's 2 or 3 things that we can do. We can resent the fact that we ever got married. We can resist, or we can ignore the vows that we made. But the truth is that it don't change the facts. You know, once you put it out there, it's out there. It doesn't change the facts. But there's a fundamental principle for promoting oneness in a marriage, because that's what it's going to take to make that marriage really survive or thrive and be what it needs to be. There's got to be a leaving, a formal association, and a clinging to, or joining together as one, according to the Word of God. He said, this is a great mystery, but I speak concerning Christ and the church. It would be easy to think that that passage over in Genesis, you know, where he said, for this cause shall a man leave his father and his mother and cleave unto his wife. It would be easy to think that that passage speaks about the church, but it also, it's about marriage only, but it also speaks about the church. But Paul wants us to know that it speaks about that relationship between Christ and the church. So he was putting everything in one, all together, showing the semblance. And this is true, you know, as regards to the first marriage, the first man and woman. Woman was made at the beginning as a result of, somebody said God put Adam to sleep and took a rib out of his side and made woman. You know, so God did something in the beginning that set the stage for what was going to happen later. Okay? God performed, he performed operation, we'll say. And that's exactly how the church came into being. You know, when Christ Christ died or he went to sleep, God did an operation. And out of the side of Adam came Eve. Out of the side of the church, of Jesus came the church, right? Because when they pierced him and the blood came forth, that settled everything. So there's a great resemblance between the two, marriage and the church, and the relationship that man has, husband has with wife, and Christ has with the church. Okay? Jesus, somebody said he gave up the ghost, and he took on the responsibility of gaining a wife by the sacrifice that he made. Okay? And nowadays, you know, things are getting all out of whack. You know, a lot of things that we used to do as men, we don't do them now. And women either, I guess, as far as that goes, but it's different now. You know, but I believe we get back to the biblical principles of marriage, that things will work a lot better. Okay? In general, it shows us that Jesus wants more than just an external or a religious relationship with us. Okay? A surface relationship. Jesus wants to be one with us. The husband and the wife are supposed to be one. Right? If that relationship, if the unity, the oneness is going to be there, then the mindset has to be that we're one. That's what makes it work the way that it needs to work. Okay? It shows us that in a sense Jesus is incomplete without us. The man is incomplete without the woman, or the husband without the wife. Okay? There's something I had to learn about that, you know, years ago, when I didn't really understand how that a man, you know, could only be complete, you know, as he had a wife, just like Jesus. If Jesus didn't have the church, what would it be? What would he be? How would he be known? How would he be relevant? Okay? So, Adam was incomplete, and in a sense, Jesus was incomplete without us. Eve made Adam complete. The church made Jesus complete. Okay? The Bible says the fullness of Adam makes up that which was lacking in him. And that's exactly what the church does with Jesus. You know, he said, I can't be everywhere at once, but I'm going to go away. I'm going to send you another one that's going to be able to be with everybody at one time. Okay? He called the body of Christ the fullness of him. That's what Christ called the church, the fullness of him. Okay? And a lot of times you hear that little cliche saying that, you know, man introduces his wife, say that's my better half, or maybe they say that's my other half, or whatever. But you know, it all really comes from Scripture. Okay? It comes from Scripture. A man can, you know, you can feel like you're complete without your wife. If you took those vows, you're not. Okay? There's a connection of unity and oneness in both of those relationships. And unity is the essence of marriage. We were one with Christ, and he made himself one with us so that we could have the right kind of relationship that we need with him. Just like a husband has to do and a wife has to do in order to have the right kind of relationship. And you know what? I wish the church could embrace the fact that we are one with Christ. Okay? The Bible even says that we are co-workers together with Christ. And that's the way it is in a marriage relationship. They are co-workers together with one. They are a unit, but they're one. Okay? He said it's a great mystery. Because it looked like he's talking about one thing. He's actually talking about two things. But how much alike it is and what it takes to make each one of them function is something. They resemble so much because it takes the same thing to make each one of them work. The church doesn't work without the body of Christ. Okay? You know, the marriage doesn't work without the husband and the wife. It doesn't work. Okay? Okay. So, he says down here in verse 33, he said, nevertheless, let every one of you in particular so love his wife even as himself, and the wife see that she reverence her husband. So he was coming together, and what he was doing was he was kind of summarizing everything that he had been saying. Nevertheless, he said, Paul really taught those two things at once. He teaches about marriage, but he teaches about God's pattern for marriage and the relationship between Jesus and his people. So in verse 31 and 32, he's focused on the relationship between Jesus and his people. And he was no doubt excited because he could see, how relevant it was to a marriage that they followed those same principles. That he almost forgot that what he was talking about. Okay? He forgot that his original topic was marriage, but it resembled the church so much. It was a mirror image, almost, of what the church is. And wouldn't it be nice if the Christians would go ahead and act like that they're preparing themselves to be the bride of Christ? Wouldn't that be something? Be able to enjoy all of the same benefits that Christ has, that's been allowed for him. It will be. It's for us. It's for us right now. And Paul came back to the matter of marriage, and he said, I'm just summing up. He said, let each one of you. This means that everybody is included. Okay? And you can say this about all marriages. It's going to take the same thing to make any marriage thrive and flourish the way that it needs to be, centered around God. It's going to take the same thing for everyone. It's going to be more than you just making a vow to do your part, and you just the spouse making a vow to do their part. It's going to have to be centered around Jesus. Okay? Because a lot of times, you focus on what you're supposed to be doing more than you focus on, why you're doing it. Okay? Okay. Now, let me give you a couple of examples. It's easy to say, well, I'm not that kind of person, so I'll never do well with marriage. I'm not the person. I'm not the loving kind. Okay? I'm just not loving like that. That's what husbands say. Wives do the same thing. Well, I'm just not the submissive type, so it's not, that's outdated, that's old-timey, that don't work with me. But no matter what our disposition is, we have a target to shoot at, and it's the target that Christ laid down for marriage to make it really work. Get your man off of your selfishness and onto what Christ said about marriage, and see what happens. Everybody goes into a marriage wanting to be a happy marriage. But somewhere along the line, it seems like things get out of order and disconnected and all messed up. I was talking to Brother Brown this morning. We were talking about how hard marriage is. It's not easy, and especially if you don't do it God's way, it's gonna be that much worse. Okay, but you gotta shoot for the target that Christ gave us. Okay, so man should love his own wife as himself. Paul stressed that unity that a husband must recognize and let it shape his thinking, let it shape his action. Okay? See, it's one thing to hear the word of God, but when you begin to apply it, you got to really think about it and say, I'm setting my mind to this, and pray for the Holy Spirit to help you and bring it to your remembrance what your role is in that marriage relationship, and he'll do it. I guarantee you he'll do it. Might do it to the point that you get on your nerves with it, but he would do it. Okay? Because unity is a central principle in marriage. And it is because so many people in the world have never had any conception of what marriage is all about, what's involved in marriage. From the standpoint of unity, that is. A lot of people don't know the biblical principles of marriage. Okay? They take those vows and hold them so loose, and they break the vows and they break the pledges, and that's why you have so much divorce. That's why marriage is such a problem now, because we too loose with it. I said, and if you go in there thinking if it don't work, I just get a divorce. Well, I can tell you right now, it ain't gonna work. I can tell you, because it takes a whole lot of effort to make a marriage work. It takes a lot. It's nothing that you can just half-heartedly do and make it work. It's hard when you're doing the best you can do. Okay? But a lot of people that end up getting divorced never caught sight of the unity thing. They still thinking of their individuality. And so you have people now, you had two people setting their own agenda, asserting their own rights. After a while, it's gonna be a clash. It's gonna be discord. They're gonna find themselves growing further and further apart. Okay. And so Paul is talking about the fact that we need to understand the principle of unity in a marriage relationship, in the church. Our relationship with the Lord. See, a lot of people, here's where a lot of people get messed up when it comes to the church. Well, I don't care what that preacher say. I'm going to do what I want to do. When the relationship that you really expressing yourself about is the one that you have with Jesus. It ain't the preacher that you supposed to have that relationship with. It's with Jesus, because we are the church. We are the bride of Christ. And our relationship with Jesus should be that of a bride, which is one of submission. Right? It should be one of submission. But we do it. We make excuses. But Jesus, he never makes an excuse for loving us. He does it because he knows that's who he is. That's what he does. That's his responsibility. Okay? And we always say, we love you, Lord. He said, well, if you love me, then keep my commandments. You know, do what I tell you to do if you love me. Okay? So that's the way it should be in a husband-wife relationship. A wife has to be submissive, and I'm telling you, I know that in the times we're living in, that's a rare thing. And only because most people have left the biblical principles and have started to assert their own mindset and their own principles to marriage. Okay? And it's a problem. Okay? So the husband is given the position of dignity, of leadership, of headship. And if he understands what that means, he'll never abuse it. Okay? He'll never misuse it if he understands what that means. Okay? In other words, what I'm saying is that, you know, the honor that goes with leadership or headship should do something to make you thrive, to fulfill that position the best you can. Okay? Not as a ruler and dictator, you know, dominator, but as leader. Okay? Don't be unkind, don't be unfair, don't be harsh. Okay? Because Jesus never does us that way. Matter of fact, a lot of times he probably should. You know, but he never does us that way. Okay? But if a man will honor their position, honor what it means to be the head, to be the leader, he will never abuse it. Okay? And he said, let the wife see. And Paul calls the wife to pay attention here. And this probably be the place where a lot of wives say, well, you know, count me out. Okay? He said, let the wife see that she reverence her husband. Okay? Let the wife see that she respects her husband. Okay? And this word, see, and it really takes it to another level when you look at it. And I'm almost don't want to reveal what it's actually saying, because if I do, a lot of the women might want to walk out on me. Okay? Okay? But it means, it's the same kind of word that was used with Jesus and his disciples. It means a reverential fear and awe towards Jesus. Okay? And that's the kind of dedication and respect that a wife should have for her husband. If a wife recognizes the headship of the husband and the church recognizes the headship of Christ, it could be a beautiful thing. Okay? And don't y'all get too excited. We about to get finished, but don't get too excited. He said, let each one of you in particular so love his own wife as himself. Let the wife see that she respects her husband. If Paul's message in this passage could be just boiled down to two principles that should govern our thinking and our actions as married people, this is what it would be. Husbands, understand that you and your wife are one. That's a principle that a husband needs to understand. You and your wife are one. You are a unity. Okay? Wives, understand that your unity has a head, and that's your husband. Okay? Now, here's the problem. Here is the problem in a nutshell. Okay? With a lot of marriage relationships. And here it is. Wives, they are so quick to understand or to embrace the husband's principles. And they want those principles that a husband is supposed to walk in be the governing thing in their marriage. Don't they? You know, be the leader, get things done, take care of business, bring security, protection. And if you just do that, husband, you know, things will be fine. Okay? Now let me flip it around. Here's the other part of the problem. The husband's big deal is, woman, a wife, if you would just do what you're supposed to do, be submissive the way you're supposed to be, we will have a great marriage. Somebody say amen. Woo! So, what we spend our time doing a lot of time in marriages is we spend our time focusing on the principles of the spouse instead of our principles, the one that we should live our life by. Okay? Because we feel like we don't have to follow those principles because we don't feel like that the other side is following the principles that they should be following. Okay? So we gotta let our own principles govern us. Okay? When you got a husband thinking, I'm not one with my wife, and I gotta think and act this way, and the wife thinking that my husband is the head of our unity, when we really put ourselves in a position and really accept the responsibility of what we're supposed to be, that marriage could be a beautiful thing. Okay? Because I've said it on several occasions, ain't nothing that a woman wants more than a man doing what he's supposed to do. Right? Nothing that a man wants more than a woman doing what she's supposed to do. Okay? Nothing that a church wants more than for the Lord to do what he's supposed to do. Nothing that the Lord wants more than for the church to do what it's supposed to do. Y'all see the resemblance? Isn't it? You know, and we'll do the Lord any kind of way, but then we say, Lord, love me, guide me, protect me, keep me, provide for me, do all these. And he said, but you supposed to be submissive. You know, that's us. Oh, yeah. I forgot about that part. And it's the same way in a marriage relationship. Okay? You know, there's not many really healthy biblical marriages now. You always see it. You know, because we walked away from the principles that's supposed to be in place. You know. And here's the thing about it. God knows us better than we know ourselves. Okay? You know the little statement I made on last week about love, how that in most relationships, one person wants to give love and another person just wants to receive it. And you can think what you want to about it, but that's the way it is with the church. We talk about how much we love Jesus, but our love for him doesn't compare to his love for us. Okay? And men, they want to be able to love their wives. Okay? That's where they'll get the greatest joy, from loving their wives. I mean, being the head, being the leader of their family, spiritual, physical, all kind of ways. Okay? And a woman will get the most joy out of being submissive to her husband. If she can find herself in that role and get her thinking and her actions set towards that role and doing what she's supposed to do. But what I say the problem is, most of the time, only thing the wives are focusing on is what their husband's supposed to do. Only thing the husband is focusing on, if my wife would do this. And it's a mess. It's a mess. You know? And where we, yes.
So would you say that if a Christian person, before they decide or want to get married, should they evaluate their principles first?
They should evaluate their principles, and that's why the apostle also told us, to not be unequally yoked together with unbelievers, because see, this thing works when both sides are walking in biblical principles. It works, But here's what a lot of women do. Well, I marry him, then I change him. Wrong answer. Wrong answer. Wrong answer. I had to say that one more time. And that has happened a lot of times, because whatever is wrong is just wrong. It's not going to decrease in intensity. It's going to increase. Okay? What was a molehill now it's going to be a mountain. I do a lot of times in counseling. I sit down with couples and I say, what you need to do right now is you need to reveal the most irritating thing about the person that you're getting ready to marry. And a lot of people, oh, it ain't nothing. It ain't no big deal. Well, I'm telling you, it's going to grow. It's going to get, if it irritates you a little bit now, wait till the bills ain't getting paid. Wait till something tear up in the house. Wait till the money get funny. I'll wait till something and then see if it don't get big. It'll get big. It'll get big. Oh, then they say, oh, you just get on my nerves. You just leave your towel hanging on the shower door. Why don't you put your towel over there? I'm just saying. Been doing it. Doing it. See, I used to be married. So I know. Okay? And you got to take all of those things and consider that. But then you got to think, okay, I'm the husband. I got a particular role. And I've got to fulfill the principles set forth in the Bible. That's the only way it's going to work.
Daddy, what about the physical side of it? Like, because, there may be some Christians who don't have the correct principles. But,
right.
In the scripture where it says it's better, and I don't know what the content or context behind that it's better to marry than to burn.
Yeah.
So what about the physical side of things?
Well, see, it's like buying a lottery ticket. If you're willing to take a chance to spend $25 on a lottery ticket that may win and may not win, then that's what you're doing. Okay? Now, it's better to marry than to burn. But I believe that's talking about in a relationship where that people know the principles, but don't just be going out committing sexual sins and you know better when you could be married. Okay?
But what if you don't have the correct principles? So
You're gonna make a mess. It's gonna be a mess. It's gonna be a mess. But see, that's why it's so important. Like I say, if you don't know, because marriage, that's the biggest thing I ever did.
Man.
I'm telling you, but I didn't know it
Okay.
when I got married. It was the biggest thing I ever did. But I didn't have no idea what I was getting into. Because I didn't have the principles.
So
I didn't have it. But see, here's the thing about it. If you, we say we promise to keep you in sickness and in health, So you got to be willing to. You got to be willing to say, okay, I'm wrong. I need to change. I need to get this right. If it's gonna work, I got to get it right. Okay.
So would you say it's important for the man of God and the woman of God to pray and seek God together?
Yeah. If you're gonna seek a man of God or a woman of God before you get married, that's the best thing to do. And sit down and discuss. Talk to somebody. Because a lot of people don't know what they. I talked to a couple one time and the guy was like, well, I just love her so much. If whatever she say, it's gonna be fine. I said, no, it ain't. I said that. I told him right there. I said, man, I'm telling you right now, that ain't gonna work. That goes against the nature of a man. You can. That's God created us like that. That is not gonna work. It's not gonna work. The best thing is to assume your position and work at your position. And if a man works at his position, the woman will follow. She will. Okay. Okay, I'm quitting. I had to preach about this sometime. It's good stuff. It's good stuff. But it's not something that a lot of church people don't have the principle, the unity, oneness principle that it takes to make a marriage thrive. They don't operate in that. 'Cause like I say, everybody looking at the other person and talking about if he do right, I'll do right now. You gotta do your part and leave the other part to the Lord. He take care of it. Do your part. Right? That right, Bubba?
Yeah, that's right. You do your part.
The Lord will take care of it.
Yep.
If a husband and wife are together, she considers him the way that she needs to. He considers her the way that he needs to. You won't have to worry about their relationship. 'Cause me and my wife, we be upset with one another, and I assume their responsibility. I don't give up. You ain't gonna stay mad. If you stay mad, then it's your fault.
Yep.
I'm not gonna let you just stay mad. Okay. If you stay mad, you just playing evil. And a woman has to. I'm just saying, if you got one person trying to reconcile, trying to do, you got to consider yourself. What's wrong with me? Yeah. No, I'm just mad, and I'm gonna stay mad till I get ready to be unmad.
Yep.
Y'all ain't never experienced that.
Don't the person talk, don't you talking. Just shut up. And cool down. Long as you keep talking.
There goes
you
some
keep
wisdom
talking.
here.
The man stop, you stop.
I don't know, bro. Sometimes they get mad if you get quiet.
We ain't work, just let them talk.
Sometimes you want to talk.
No,
See?
they're quiet now. Me and my wife do the same thing. We get the organ, I just sit there. If I don't sell it, she'll get that much more matter. She'll get that much more matter. It's trying to get me said something.
Yeah.
I just
Yeah. That's why, you know, it's good to stay prayed up. But married people, it's rough. The devil don't want it marriages to work because he knows that a good marriage is a picture of the church. You know, he don't want the world to see that. Okay? He don't want the world to see that it's the same kind of relationship with the church and the Lord. If people see a good marriage, they'll think about doing the right thing, getting married, you know, following those principles. Because nobody would object if both parties follow the principle. Nobody would object. You know, if you do object, you need to check yourself and say, Lord, I need some help. Help me to do what I need to do. And he'll do it. I had to accept and embrace that role. I had to accept it. You know, you'll be just want to be mad. You know, you be so upset you want to be mad. You know, but then you know what God expects of you. You say, you know, I got to get this right. You know, and you do the best you can. You got to fight. That's spiritual warfare in a marriage, boy. I'm talking about real spiritual warfare. You got to fight. You know, you got to fight because if you don't, the enemy gonna take you over and the devil gonna come out of you, right? And I'm telling you, regardless of what he say, that ain't gonna help. It's only gonna make things worse.
I've got to the point that when I pray now and ask for help, when I pray and ask for help, he helps me right out the door.
Not me. You know what? I bug my wife. You know, I don't even be wanting nothing. She be mad, walking around, sitting around there with attitude. I ain't even want nothing from the store. I'm like, I'm finna go to the store. Can we get you something? Ain't been more thing about going to the store than nothing. I'm just saying, but I know what I gotta do. I know somebody gotta break this thing. You know? Gotta break this thing. Oh me, but I've enjoyed this. Study. This. You know, because we never really talked about it much. And maybe something we need to focus on more. But biblical principles, you know, are what make a marriage work. You know, because everybody got their own idea about marriage, what they can do and how, you know, they can make it work. You know, and some people don't care about pleasing God in their marriage. They just want to please themselves. You know, and all of us can say what we want to, but we all got some selfishness in us. Okay. But Jesus, you know, he wasn't like that towards the church. That's our example as men. He wasn't like that. You know. But it's work. Okay, any announcements, any remarks, anything? Let's continue to pray.